All right, today we are going to be reading Chapter 5 of The Pet War. In Chapter 4, Mom had agreed to have Lexi and Otto compete in a contest of who could raise $500 first. Whoever would win would get to choose what pet they would like to adopt. So if Otto wins, he'll probably choose a dog. If Lexi wins, she'll probably choose a cat. So we'll see who wins as we continue to read. So chapter 5 is Saturday, March 3rd, money saved $0. Malcolm and I were in his backyard, which was just a few streets away from mine. "Watch this!" I shouted, getting ready to amaze him with my soccer juggling skills. Soccer juggling is when you bounce the ball from one foot or leg to another foot or leg without the ball hitting the ground. I once juggled a ball 42 times in a row. No one else on my team could come close. I bounced the ball twice on my knee. 1, 2, and then the ball careened awkwardly and landed on the grass. "Impressive," said Malcolm, clapping. "You're so not funny." I nudged the ball to him, but a little too hard, and it skittered past and into his bushes. "Sorry, I'm distracted, that's all. I have less than a month to raise $500. "So why are you playing soccer?" asked Malcolm. "Shouldn't you be out robbing a bank or something?" He bounced the ball from foot to foot. I had been teaching him how to juggle for the past few weeks as part of my special Otto's soccer clinic. Malcolm was my only student. "I don't see how you're going to earn that kind of money without robbing a bank anyway. Have you heard of Pretty Boy Floyd? You could be Ugly Face Otto." Malcolm smiled when he said it. He was my best friend, so he was allowed to insult me. We had this game where we took turns insulting each other, but he usually won. He was better at language arts than me too, and math. But I was better at soccer, so it all evened out. You need friends who are better than you at stuff. Then you can get them to do things, like think of ideas to earn money so you can get a dog. "Soccer players get paid millions of dollars a year," I said. "Do you think I could find a team to sign me for $500? That'd be a bargain." Malcolm kneed the ball to his foot, under his leg, and then to his knee. It was a pretty nice trick. Maybe I shouldn't have taught him how to juggle so well. Then he kicked the ball back to me. Now it was my turn to show off my soccer skills. After all, I was the soccer star here. I bounced the ball twice on my left foot, hopped right, then smacked it too hard, and the ball rolled into the bushes again. "A team wouldn't want you even if you paid them $500, Malcolm giggled. "That's so funny I forgot to laugh." I needed a plan, and maybe more soccer practice. I can't let Lexi win. I'll never hear the end of it. I just need one great idea to raise cash, and I'm set. I snapped my fingers. "I know! I could expand Otto's soccer clinic. Show kids how to juggle. I'd make a fortune." I nudged the ball up on my right knee, bounced it on my left knee, my right foot, and then into the bushes yet again. I really needed to practice. "That's a great idea," said Malcolm. He began speaking to an imaginary group of soccer students. "Kids, watch me, and then do the opposite." "You're not being very helpful." "Sorry, but your ideas stink. Don't blame the messenger. Fart face, pickle head, French fry breath, amoeba brain fungus oozing scooter head." "Good one. Thanks." "See? He's a lot better than me at insults." "But I have a money-making idea that you'll think is simply brilliant." I had done a little research on my computer that morning. I needed to find just the right idea, easy, well-paid, and not impossible, maybe. "Ready?" Malcolm nodded. "Are you sure?" Malcolm nodded again. "Here I go." "Just tell me already." "I can move to Hollywood and get my own TV show." He stared at me. "Really? That's your genius plan? You can't act or dance or sing." "But I have Hollywood good looks. TV actors make a mint. Or I could just get a reality show. Anyone can have one of those." "Great idea. They could call it The Biggest Loser of All Time," Malcolm suggested with a laugh. "I'm serious." "That's what scares me," said Malcolm. "You're never getting your own show. What else do you have?" "Okay, this next one is excellent, really." Malcolm didn't look convinced. "I could become a lawyer. Lawyers get paid like $500 an hour. I work for 1 hour and I'm done. But Malcolm didn't even have to respond to that last idea for me to know it was lousy. You need to start smaller, Malcolm juggled as he talked, barely paying attention to what he was doing, but kicking flawlessly. How about doing work around the neighborhood? You mean like real labor? I could take weeks to make $500 if I had to actually work for it. Then you better get started, Malcolm continued his fancy work. I would have to put in some extra practice time if I was going to remain the team soccer juggling champion. But I had to admit it, Malcolm's idea made sense. That's why they call it earning money. Besides, I'd do just about anything to remove that smirk from Lexi's face, even if it meant a real day's work, however awful the idea sounded. I just needed to be responsible, and I'd start earning money out of my ears. Sort of like earwax, but with money. I decided mowing lawns was a perfect way to earn money. I was wrong. Our lawn doesn't need to be mowed. Come back in June, said Mr. Weinstein, patting his stomach. I'm not sure why he patted his stomach. Maybe he just ate. You don't get a stomach as big as his without eating a lot. Exercise isn't really his thing. That's why I thought he would be eager for someone to mow his lawn. The next house wasn't even better. Aren't you a bit early in the season? Said Miss Strepp. She didn't have kids, so I figured she'd be a sure customer. Maybe people without children love hiring kids to do stuff. I think it's because they feel guilty that other people raise kids while they go on fancy vacations all the time. Are you nuts? Go away, said Mr. Parris, who then closed the door on me. Mr. Parris isn't the nicest neighbor, but when you need money, you can't be choosy. Even mean people have cash. So maybe I hadn't thought through the mowing lawn idea very well. Finding a lawn to mow was as easy as eating horseradish, and I've already told you my feelings about horseradish. I guess March isn't the best time of year for lawn mowing. I had wasted almost an hour of my time knocking on doors and hadn't made a real cent, or any colored cent. I didn't know what Lexi was doing, but I wouldn't have been surprised to learn she was raking in the dough already. Knocking on doors all day is tiring, especially when wheeling around a heavy old lawnmower. After steering it back in our garage, I grabbed a cold bottle of soda from our fridge and practically downed it in one gulp. But before I tossed the bottle in the trash, I couldn't help notice the words printed on the side of it. Deposit, 5 cents. That means I could get a nickel for every bottle I brought back to the store. Now, a nickel isn't a fortune, but I bet if I walked around the city, I could find hundreds of empty bottles in no time. I just needed 1,000 bottles and I'd be set. Or maybe I needed 10,000 bottles. I had a hard time carrying the zeros, but money was money. Why am I coming along? Howled Malcolm. I dragged my old red wagon behind me as we walked down the sidewalk toward the park. The wheels were really rusty and made a loud squealing racket when they rolled, so we had to yell to be heard. I have better things to do. What was that? I asked, shouting. Better things to do, he screamed. I have better things to do. Like what? What? Like what? I stopped dragging the red wagon as we could talk. I could be doing lots of things, said Malcolm. Brushing my teeth, watching paint dry, really, anything in the whole world. I'm not the one who wants a dog. But best friends help best friends. Do you want Lexi to win? Of course not. Do you want to see her demolished like an old soda can, smashed into smithereens and then thrown into a trash compactor? I don't know, said Malcolm. That sounds a bit harsh. Harsh? We're talking Lexi. We're talking cats. Do you want me to lose? Malcolm shook his head. Then let's go. I yanked the red wagon forward. If Malcolm said anything else, I couldn't hear. I think he might have groaned. But didn't Malcolm know that this was war? War wasn't for the squeamish. It's dog eat dog, or rather dog eat cat. We arrived at the park and walked down the long gravel parking lot. There were no cars. Although the park was empty, people always left bottles behind. Our family went on a picnic a few days ago. This was before Our family went on a picnic a few years ago. This was before Mom and Dad got divorced. and we found 4 bottles without even trying. Dad flew off the handle, saying litterers didn't respect the environment, and he used a bunch of other words, some not very nice. But the more people littered, the more moolah for me. Hopefully there was an epidemic of littering going on. Malcolm and I had the entire park to ourselves. It was a bit chilly. Maybe if it were warmer there would have been more bottles. After about 20 minutes of searching, we only found 1. This stinks, I complained. You'd think someone would trash the place up a bit. Why is the park so clean anyway? Some people like clean parks, said Malcolm. Sure, cat lovers probably, I grumbled. We spent the next hour walking around looking for bottles. We even walked all the way to Grand River Avenue, with its long string of stores and lots of people. There weren't humongous mega stores. It wasn't that sort of downtown, but there was a couple dozen smaller places, like Wow Cow Ice Cream Parlor, Schnood's Grocery Store, Dry Cleaner's Dry Cleaning, that's what the sign said, Hair Sensations Beauty Salon, the library, Upetcha Pet Store, a couple of restaurants, and so on. Ever since I started middle school, Mom let me bike out there. She said I wasn't old enough when I was only in 5th grade. She said it wasn't safe. I argued it wasn't safe anywhere and that a meteorite could land on me in the backyard. It could happen, maybe. So Mom said I couldn't play in the backyard anymore either. Luckily, that only lasted a couple of days. Fortunately, no meteorites ever landed. But here, it was like the town had gone green overnight. Even with searching inside trash cans and looking behind the convenience store, all we picked up were 8 bottles. I may not have been great at math, but I know I wasn't close to $500. Any other bright ideas? Asked Malcolm. You're the one that told me to start small. This was all your plan. You're supposed to be the brains of the operation, he said. Of course, you need a brain first. Burp head, repugnant dung beetle, cucumber nose, squat nose Malodorus, mountain weasel. I let the insult slide. Besides, I wasn't sure what malodorous meant. But I couldn't worry about insults. I only had a few hours left in the day to find valuable employment. I had read about people without jobs and always wondered why they couldn't just get one in like 3 seconds. But now I knew. Finding steady work was going to be more difficult than I first believed. You could wash cars, suggested Malcolm. People need their cars washed, even in March. Which wasn't a bad idea, I had to admit. Malcolm had a knack for making cash. His dad was an accountant, and accountants are all about making money. It was probably hereditary, like my inability to arch my eyebrows. I blamed Dad. I wonder how many cars we can wash in one day, I asked. We? I have to go home. It's getting late. Home? But what about me? You can't expect me to earn my money by myself. Of course I can. It's your pet. Earning money is your responsibility. I bristled but nodded. I was all about responsibility, and as it turned out, I didn't need Malcolm's help at all. Mr. Willoughby, who lived across the street and 4 houses over, said that his car needed washing. He drove a minivan, which made it impossible for me to clean the very top of it. But you wouldn't know it unless you were a giraffe or a flying helicopter. I charged him $5, but he didn't have any change, so he gave me a 10. I should have charged him 50, and maybe he would have given me $100. Oh well, live and learn. $50 to wash my car? Said Mr. Flanders. 7 doors down. I'll give you $5. It's a deal, I said. Unfortunately, she had exact change. I hoped I could wash 100 cars that day, and at $5 a pop, I'd be set. But I couldn't find any more to wash, and I knocked at just about every house in the neighborhood. I even knocked on Mr. Willoughby's door again. He didn't think his car needed washing more than once in the same day. Since he had paid me $10, he said I was more than welcome to wash it again for free. But I didn't. Still, I made $15. It wasn't enough to buy a dog, but I was getting closer. I had other tricks up my sleeve, too. I called Grandma Sylvia when I got home. She lives in Florida, so we only see her once a year. Grandma always sends a check for $50 on my birthday. I figured that just might be my ticket to fast money. Grandma, it's me, Otto, I said after she answered the phone. Otto? Grandma gasped. Why are you calling? Is anything wrong?